Chess Tarantula, and myself here, pre-Halloween week. Welcome everybody. Thanks to someone on Sound for the donation during yesterday's simul. You guys can always make a streaming donation. Sometimes we forget, lest we forget. Streaming donations enable you to give yourself a fun name and make a donation there on the streaming ticker. Thank you guys. Thanks to someone on Sound for the simul donation. Alright guys, so I've got challenges from Troll in a Roll and Spieler, which is not easy. We'll start with the warm-up Troll in a Roll. He's actually not easy either, but mostly he'll let me win on time. The Spieler game is going to be a little bit tougher. What's up guys? Acerbate, welcome. So, how's the school going, Spieler? Don't do what I did and concentrate too much on chess. Remember the time I skipped all my classes to go to the New York Open for like a week. That was bad. Anyway, guys, we got another challenge from Cheesy Noob. Troll in a Roll is 6 plus 4, 5 plus 3, and 5 plus 3. You can challenge me through 5-3 through 7-3. 5-3 through 7-3. And we're going to get started. Antonio, what's up? So nice endgame yesterday. I haven't had a chance to go over. I was too exhausted and I needed to get my beauty sleep. I haven't had a chance, but I will go over the more interesting simul games from yesterday. Obviously, the game against Morales was one of the ones I lost, but also a kind of funny study-like endgame. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. So we got a lot of challenges here from subscribers. Let's get started. Troll in a Roll. No one ever picks 5 plus 5. The endgame with rooks was lost. The opening were right about e5. You mean the endgame with rooks was lost for you? At some point. Once I traded queens, I should be winning. Yeah, but I mean, you know, you had the wedge on the queen side, which was not easy to deal with. Maybe it's winning, but it wasn't that easy. You know, I was kind of like pissed that I lost. And maybe I exaggerated a little bit, saying like, oh, you know, it's just the pawn up endgame. I'm sure it's not that easy to win. I was disappointed with myself, though. Because I made that sort of crushing blunder at one point when you played c4. Or somebody knows what we're talking about, unless they saw the game last night. That's like when people come up to you at the chess tournament and they're talking about some position. They just assume, you know, I don't like to do that, but we'll just suffice to say that Morales and I had an interesting endgame yesterday, and I was pissed when I lost. I sort of dismissed it as an easy winning endgame, but it wasn't that simple, and as usual his space advantage with e5 was critical. We'll take a look at that. I'll take a look at that tonight when I finish my other stuff for today. So knight g3, yeah, the knights are bad on the corner, particularly. Troll is very good at controlling the center, very principled. I like the way he plays opening stage of the game. His weakness is tactics and time. I'd love to play g6, but at the same time my knight is stuck. Can we live with that? Can we live with a stuck knight? Stuck. If knight f6, e5, Morales' favorite move, knight g4. Man, I don't know. I can't seem to get used to the fact that my king is on d8 here. Such a bizarre location for the king. You almost think you're playing normal chess in a way. It's close to e8. I don't play enough chess 960 though. It's hard for me to adapt just suddenly. Troll is specializing. Take some merit for c6. Antonio with the the mastership of the only move. It was nice, though. I'll give you aesthetic bonus points. It's like an endgame study. But my interesting question, you know, is was the king and pawn game lost for me, or did I misplay it? Because again, I haven't taken a look. I mean, if I lost one tempo, it probably went from drawn to lost. It was lost. I wasn't sure if there was some way I could move my king another time to like d8 and corner you on the A file or something, where your A pawn wouldn't be able to get through. I'll check it out tonight. Alright, it feels like the Sicilian, but we've got the knight on h8. Why did I play knight f6? That wasn't really the plan. Alright, there's only one way to play this, like escaping again. I guess e6, d6, and then we'll see where the king will go. Probably on the king's side. I'm playing a Sicilian. I'm not usually going to castle queen's side because the c pawn is advanced. I was trying to think of where I got that line from that I played against you. e4, c5, knight c3, b6. But I realize now that it was in my head because one of these guys in the IM tournament where I was playing adjacent to had a game. There was a long time closed Sicilian guy. His opponent played that, and it went in my head. I mean, I've tried it before, playing b6 to get out of theory. Can normal theory apply to chestnut 60? Well, not really. I mean, not normal opening theory. Here's an interesting idea. Maybe bishop d6. Of course, my plan was originally to play e6, d6, possibly d5. I could have played d5 now. I like to play imbalanced positions, and I hate symmetrical pawn structures. So whenever I play this kind of move, like ED, I sort of detest that. You're playing the exchange French. You know, I didn't realize how much I hated symmetrical pawn structures till I started chess streaming and talking about the game more. I learned a lot about myself by doing streaming. So Troll here found a secret move. c3, I didn't realize, you know, this defends e4. Well, I have b5 right away. Convenient. The Kopeck Sicilian. I can't believe Danny Kopeck is gone. All these chess players I know who died. It's so weird. Time goes quickly. Let's see. b5, bishop b7, and then, well, we don't have a bad bishop, obviously. This is the biggest problem in e6 Sicilian, where your bishop is bad. So, I mean, there's some similarities here. Answering that question from CDM, I mean, not directly you can borrow normal opening theory, but there are definitely similarities. This is like a Sicilian bishop c4, c3 sort of system. I mean, some of the ideas we can apply, but I mean, that's one of the reasons why I think that people should play many different types of positions. You learn to play many different types of pawn structures. You can apply ideas, different scenarios. You play just one kind of pawn structure all the time, every single game. You know, if you end up outside of that, you're going to be clueless. That's why I criticize people who play like the London system and the Slav and the Caro-Kann every game. You only play one pawn structure. There was an American IM who did that a couple actually, but I think Cyrus Lakdawala would come to mind. This guy who wrote a book on the Caro-Kann. He literally played that repertoire. He's a good player. I am from California, but I mean, all you play is that one pawn structure. That's crazy. I'm playing mostly hypermodern openings, very little classical stuff. Sicilian, English, and D4, and King's India and Nimzo. I don't play the Queen's Gambit with black. I don't play that much E4 with white. Pretty much everything else. I do play E4, but not as much. But it's more hypermodern than classical. Alright, give me the pawn. Yeah, well, Aspirate, I think you should modify your opening repertoire to play something more fundamental instead of the Owen. The Owen has taught you a lot, but it's just not good enough to be like your primary defense to E4. The Owen is something that would be good as a side, side variation, a secondary opening. Padron and Tony, welcome. Thanks for subscribing. We missed you. I was thinking of you yesterday. Some moment when it was quiet and we needed someone to kibitz. I was thinking how weird it was that you weren't here. Where have you been? Though you don't usually play in the simuls. Probably at a food event. Mushroom tasting. Weekend mushroom tasting. Legion, what? Wow, Legion's student played a really good game, the longest game in my simul yesterday. I honestly feel kind of ashamed I didn't realize that endgame was winning for me. I almost was considering accepting a draw. But of course, I realized I couldn't lose, so I was like, okay. But how often do you play with rook in 3? Rook against 3 pawns. Strange ending. I mean, it had to have happened in my games, but I don't recall really in a tournament game. Yeah, we'll try to encourage him if he comes to the stream, Legion. Rookie 1, Mr. Troll. Mr. Troll, Mr. The chess mister. So, yeah. My queen side's a little overextended now. Maybe we can buy some time here. Gonna open me up with A3 or B4. I don't think that's as good. It's similar to the Ross Limo. Normally the problem I get is with B3 or A4 in those type of structures. D3's, he's trading a central pawn for the C pawn. I'm trading toward the center, but if he plays, instead of D4, if he plays B3 or A4, then he's trading toward the center. I think that's superior. I knew it had to be something for, you had to be doing something about food, Pedro and Antoni. So this looks okay for black. We can castle. Believe it or not, this is chess 960. Wonder, yeah, I should play H6. Give me that bishop now. You will give me your bishop. Schieberspieler, when did you start playing? Knight g4. Bishop b6 check. You're 11. I guess that's pretty late for today's standards. It is late. I need to get out of here. My rook is undeveloping. That doesn't often happen. You undevelop your rook by castling. That sucks. I just undeveloped my rook. You know how the park players play in Washington Square? Like, they'll cheat? That's the most classic, like, park player cheating trick. When they castle, they drop their rook on e8 instead of just castling normally. Like, they get a bonus move. Has anybody else seen that trick? Stalkers. You have to ask Bob. All right. This is pretty much slightly better for black. But it went according to plan. We got good dark square control. The idea here, you know, in this kind of line, I'm fighting for control of the dark squares. Pretty much early on when we got to this position with bishop d6. I have to make sure I can control those dark squares with the pieces. Instead of playing the traditional style here. Like I said, if you went back, I mean, this would be like a very sort of traditional move. Maybe d5. But again, I don't really like I said, this type of pawn structure. Alright, Schieberspieler is going to be tough. Cheesy Noob, Making. I don't know, Making is, yeah, Making, we said this yesterday, is a subscriber. Cheesy Noob. We don't know if Cheesy Noob is a subscriber. Who's a subscriber? Wow, Morales, everybody's here. Morales, Princess Chess. Sidan. Sidan, stalking other chess streams. Well, I mean, sometimes you're like in a bad mood when you're streaming. I don't know Anna Rudolph that well, except for offering me draws inappropriately. But, you know, maybe they're in a bad mood because somebody else was like trolling them or something. You never know. I'll be pretty liberal with the bans if I'm getting trolled by other people. Maybe they had a bad day. And then you came up and asked them if they live with their parents or not. I mean, I don't know. Sounds kind of creepy, though. But I think they should probably realize that most of their audience is 12-year-old boys. So, when most of your audience is 12-year-old boys, you know, you got to really kind of think about the sort of questions they're going to ask. All right. Schieberspieler, what's up? We got to be careful with this guy. He's dangerous, fast and dangerous. The classic Slaggy repertoire. Here he goes. I don't know what came over me. Alright, so it's a Caro-Kann. I've done this before. Caro-Kann reversed. But Schieberspieler knows what he's doing. He knows a little bit about the Caro-Kann. This is harmless, objectively. I wonder if you have even better there. If technically like Queen B6. Long, long ago I looked at this in a galaxy far, far away. Now it's like I'm playing the London system, but I'm not really playing the London system. This is a Caro-Kann exchange variation reversed. Though they are inherently similar. Gotta be extra careful with the Spieler. The wrong bus episode. I was pissed. I was tired though. Like, it's a typical situation where it was the day after I played Kozak, this 90 move game, and I didn't get to sleep as much. I got home kind of late because it was like a 6-hour game, and I didn't sleep quite as much as the other days, so it all like adds up. So every time you play in one of these tournaments, Padron and Tony, I mean, it sounds really luxurious to just have one game every day. Honestly, it is. Like, I used to play, I've told this story before, but I've played American tournaments where I played 2 rounds a day, and I played like 12 hours a day or something. But I mean, still, every day I play, I get progressively more tired. One day, and then the next day, and the next day. It just sort of adds up. Like, your endurance is like decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. You don't have a rest day. That's why in big tournaments, like world-class tournaments, they have rest days. It's not like just for luxury. I mean, you really need like a rest after playing for like 5 or 6 days straight. And well, that's different, Sidan. That's like a rapid tournament, of course. But I mean, long games. So after like 5 rounds, I'm really, really tired, and I got to the bus stop, and I mean, I've taken this bus like 15 times. I mean, I know what I'm doing, but the thing was, there was like, I was a little bit late, and there was 3 buses lined up one after another, and I saw the number, and I was like getting on the right bus. I was sure I was on the right bus. I double checked it, but it was the wrong bus somehow. It was so bad. But other than that, it was a good, okay, let's say not good, but I'm very, very disappointed I didn't beat the bunny in the 8th round. I had him dead to rights. But it's an interesting rook endgame where I didn't squeeze him quite hard enough. I cashed in my chips, this proverbial saying, right? Well, the question is always, like, if you have an advantage, how do you cash it in? At what stage? You gotta not cash in your chips too early. That's the key. So it's hard to do a minority attack in the old this is a debatable move here. Hard to do a minority attack. This is reasonable, I guess. I've never done this before. Trying to play knight h5 to kick him off the diagonal like that. It's basically a Caro-Kann reversed. I don't know, he seems like he doesn't mind. I'm having second thoughts about this. Speaking of cashing in your chips too early, if I played b4 Schieberspieler, he's almost like welcoming it. I'm afraid he would hit me with b5 and then outpost the c4 square. Classic kind of Queen's Gambit decline trick. Thomas Franson, no, I'm glad you could follow the games. I'm sorry that it wasn't live. The tournament organizers are pretty lame. For that tournament I was just playing in, there's no like DGT boards, which is stupid. I mean, at this day and age, any kind of closed tournament should have the DGT boards and a live relay. It's not that big a deal to do that. It's just negligence. But I was talking about my 8th round game. I had a winning position, but it required precise play. And I was just like, whatever, he's a little kid. I'm up a pawn in a rooking game. He was like, but he was really behaving badly. Like, honestly, there were 3 14-year-old kids in my tournament. Mendonca, Marcel Borji Marcel, and this kid, the last one, the 8th round. So he's not like a monster, but he was like angry that he had a bad position and tired, and he was like laying his head down on the table around the 40th move. Like when I was trying to convert this winning position, he was so like depressed and tired or whatever that he started to like physically lay his head down on the table so that his head was actually sticking out over the board. Like he was like on the A8 and B8 square with his head. At one point I was like trying to reach my rook down on the 7th rank, but I was like, excuse me, like this is not the behavior of like a 14-year-old. Maybe like an 8-year-old or something like that. You know, you don't like lay your head down on the table because you're tired. Like it's kindergarten. But it was distracting. You know, I was like right in a critical position where I had to be accurate. And I'm like, excuse me, can you move your head so I can get my rook on the 7th rank? Whatever. But that game, Antony, to answer the very long question there, to answer your question with a very long answer, I had to be accurate. Schieber-Spieler. See, his idea is that if I try the minority attack, he's going to take once and then play b5. Presumably. Then he goes knight b6 and knight c4 and sinks a knight into c4. So, that's how that works. Knight f3, bishop f5, blah blah blah. But in general, I was really impressed, you know, by the kids in the tournament. 3 14-year-olds. Borji Marcel and Mendonca are really, really professional guys. But they've been trained better. But I was pissed with myself for not winning that rook endgame. But it's very sort of surprising that at the end I can't win. Now he's got this move and maybe f5. Still b4, take, lots of counterplay for black. You gotta be extra careful. I didn't know who, you know, who the Mendonca's coach was. There's practically no way I could find it out. But I mean, even if I knew that, it may not benefit me at all. At least I had the thrill of playing 2 over the board tournaments before Europe collapses again. Yeah. That's a positive way of looking at it. So much for the minority attack. Maybe I can play f3, but I have to be really careful about that. Maybe better to do like f4, knight f3, knight e5, kind of a b5, knight b6, knight c4 idea. Now he's going to do what exactly? You know, wow. Not what I expected, but that may be good too. Overprotect. I don't know about d3. Are we having fun yet? Are you sure? You sure you want to do... It's funny. You're actually winning here? What? Rook e8? You have a winning line? You have b2? What? Well, you see, you have rook g6 check. Rook b6 right away? Well, that's obvious. Yeah, you're winning. Haha. I was lost, man. I thought you'd play b2 here. Check. King g5, rook g6 check. But the other line is much easier. Did I ever have a draw here? Probably not. That was well played by Schieberspieler. Apparently it is a draw. Whoa. Wow. So here I have to be like ultra precise. Obviously his outside connected pawns are premium. This was the blunder. I had to play rook b6. I have enough counterplay. Getting my king up with threats of mate and attacking the b pawn, but this is the blunder. Rook here. Okay. Obviously it's logical to attack both pawns, but the truth is the d5 pawn doesn't matter. I don't have time to take that. That was my blunder. The important thing is that I get my king up and I create mating threats with my d. There's no time for the d pawn to go down. Good game, man. Classic Schieberspieler. That was tough. What? I was winning? What? I was winning? I had mate? What? Oh, I have king h7. Oh my god. You know, I saw the idea of king h7, but I kept seeing the queen coming with check on b1. So I was like, no, but this is with check, check. Oh my god. So he's actually lost here, trying too hard to win. After rook a7 to play b2 right away, and then you have that line with check. But it was a good game by Schieberspieler strategically. Alright, so who's a subscriber? Is Cheesy Noob a subscriber? Can somebody tell me? Cheesy Noob, are you out there? I need to know who's a subscriber so I can take their challenge first. I wasn't happy with that game though. That's a lame variation. I don't know what got into me though. I wasn't thinking when I exchanged pawns on d5. It's too early. The problem with my move order is that exchange of pawns on d5 is too early. It's not a normal exchange variation. It's like an inferior version. Although I used to play that voluntarily sometimes just to avoid theory. I said complicating things is the way to defeat you. Yeah, no, it's a bad choice. It was like my game against Krstulovic. I couldn't have played like the worst position. Something more harmless and safe. Well, no one's to say that I think about what I'm doing most of the time. Yeah, I need to play sharper against Schieberspieler. My advantage in chess is that I have a flexible style. I can play more than one style. But I don't always use it. my ability to do that. I can change my style. But that's what happens when you play chess for 30 years, hopefully. You know, you have a little bit of... We have more than one way of playing. So, okay. I don't know much about making March. We just had the one game from yesterday, and that... Don't know why he resigned right away. Was it lost? I guess it might be lost, but he resigned kind of early. You found a master game? Is it mine? It's probably one of my games. I mean, I've played that stupid line before. No, I'm just kidding. My game probably isn't in there. I've played that at least twice, I'm sure. Once against Erez Klein, this master at the Marshall, in the mid-90s. I had a draw with him. I remember that. Bishop e6 here. Okay, so if queen h4, rook c8, b3, knight d5. The c5 move doesn't work. That's one of my primary ideas. Good morning from camp, chess camp. Halloween chess camp with the chess Tarantula. Okay, so this move isn't really in book. I mean, I don't know too much theory about it. This was a very old suggestion by John Watson in his like first or second edition English book, but very little analysis on it. It's probably been played quite a bit by now. But bishop takes... This is sharp reaction by black. Bishop e6. Sacrificing the pawn. Bishop e7. Knight d5. Sack the queen. Seriously, bishop takes b7. Rook b8 is possible. Queen d3 would just leave me in an inferior normal variation. Bishop takes b7, knight d5. Where do I put my queen? Queen h4. Then knight takes c3, b takes c3. I mean, I don't know what else to do here. What other point is there? I mean, he can mess up my pawns, but I'm up a pawn. I always thought like one of the weaknesses of this move was that it leaves the f2 square weak. Kind of like in the Grunfeld when you play rook d8. But black is not that well, you know, aggressively deployed to take advantage of f2. How's your chess camp? Getting started, Blabix? How's relations with Turkey going? Alright, knight d5. So I was thinking queen h4 originally. Queen d2. There's also knight b4 sometimes. And there's the idea of knight b4, knight c2, possibly. We always like to get a little political jokes in. Okay, this is my idea. I mean, I guess he's just taking my pawns. No, Not that clear, though. Bishop g5 even could be a move. Probably not, though. If bishop g5, f6. So let's say instead bishop takes c3, bishop h6. Bishop a1, bishop h6. That sucks. Okay, that's not. It almost looks like I have to play a grab. Bishop c3, bishop a8. Bishop a1. And then just try to equalize with like bishop d5. It seems like I'm overextended there. So now bishop d5, bishop c3, bishop g5, bishop a1, bishop e7, queen somewhere, bishop f8. I don't really have a better suggestion. I'm lucky if I can equalize here. Making merch. We need to making some merch. Your last word game was a crazy one. Never be greedy. So bishop takes c3, bishop h6 sucks because of bishop takes a1, bishop f8, bishop f6. But I can do bishop takes c3, bishop g5. And then f6 doesn't possible. f6 doesn't possible. Bishop c3. So he exchanges first. Now it does possible. Maybe he's calculated. No, I mean, bishop h6 allows bishop takes a1, bishop f8, bishop f6, which is what we were talking about before. I have to play this first. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the standard way to analyze. He just goes somewhere. None of those moves, the XYZ has no particular major tactical importance. It doesn't attack something or change the position drastically. You can just say, you know, bishop e7, queen somewhere. I think that's a normal way to analyze to sort of save time for a human being. Yeah, I have to set up the tournament. Thanks for reminding me. So, Sedan, that was what Spanish teacher used to say. Bishop h6, bishop a1, bishop f8. We're lucky if we're not lost. It's a miracle. Whew. Well, at the end of the day, I mean, black has a good pawn structure, but this weakness at e6 is significant. Panda took... We don't know. He might have been eaten or abducted. It's not clear if it's a cannibal tarantula or just a friendly holiday decoration. By the way, yesterday I had really bad lag. it's gone now. But we were losing the stream at some point. So the new Tarantula, yeah. He's here to help us celebrate Halloween. This otherwise depressing pandemic era. The active rook d1. Black looks pretty solid, actually. Very hard to get at the base of his pawn chain. My first reaction was that I was better. But that doesn't appear to be the case. Although things could change. If I can bring pressure to bear on e7 and tie him down. Maybe f5 is a good move. Maybe I've got to be careful. Yeah, that ending looks good. I don't really want to trade queens, give you a easy rook in game with a dragon pawn structure. I've lost endings like that. For sure. We're under a little bit of time pressure. Must stay active. They will give you money. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm losing on time though. Damn. Groveling for a draw is our job. That was an impressive game. By Black. Definitely master level. Like playing another IM. Probably I had a drawn position at some point. Interesting here, maybe king f2 is better. But it's still very difficult endgame to hold. I have to be precise, black's just too fast. Much faster than me. Alright, Cheesy New Morales, Princess Chess, Sidan. I'm surprised how many people are here on a Monday morning. It's weird. Sometimes on the weirdest days we have a really big turnout in viewership. At least for the regulars. It's amazing how everybody can get here. Why am I white every game? Is anybody else getting in on this? I don't know, Black's in-game technique seemed awfully strong. For 2100, he's excellent. Usually people online are better at tactics and not so good in being so sure of themselves in the end game as my last opponent. That shows someone who's played chess for many, many years to have endgame technique like that. That would have to be like, I would say someone who's played for a very long time to have that confidence. At least as long as Schieberspieler. Alright. Young players don't play the endgame that well. It would have to be a more experienced player. Cheesy Noob, I don't understand, why am I white in every single game? It wasn't really the position, but the time. Black was using no time for his moves. Guys, does anybody understand why I'm white in every single game? Is this like a troll thing? Because that happened before. But I don't want to play white every single game. Are you guys intentionally like getting together as a group and challenging me specifically with white? I suspect that happened once in a stream like several years ago. But it gets boring to play the same color every single game. G3, D5 right away. Why not? You know, that's one thing that bothers me about lichess. If someone challenges you, let's say, to that with white, it doesn't show. Like, why not? Like, if Kravnik challenges me to play a game with the white pieces, it doesn't show that he's challenging with just white, right? Am I right? Am I correct in this assumption? I thought that's how it worked. Like it was like secret or something. This is like my fourth white in a row. It's an awfully strange coincidence. Alright, whatever. Weird move order by Cheesy Noob. It's just a stonewall with a strange move order. The Cane Man. Revenge! That was the only word the guy ever said in English in his whole life. This Russian candidate master that I lost to after beating him twice. He'd never spoken a single word in English. But he looked up revenge in the dictionary or something. Or he just knew it from German. He like yelled it at me after he beat me. So it's weird. The Stonewalengrad. Or it's like a Grunfeld where black played f5 over his knight. Like that's an interesting question. You're playing the black side of the symmetrical fianchetto Grunfeld. Would you play f5 if you could? There's more and more people on Twitch who are using bot viewers. It's starting to piss me off, actually. If you look at the chess streamers, there's a bunch of randoms that have like 500, 900 viewers suddenly out of nowhere. I want to write like a letter to Twitch complaining. It's not only bad for me, but it's bad for the advertisers on Twitch, that these people are exploiting the system and doing bot viewership. I think Twitch doesn't really care, but their advertisers will care if it continues. It's just ridiculous. Random noobs have like 500 viewers. That's believable. Then you go in the chat and you look at the users in chat and there's like 40 people there. What's that? So you took the pawn on c4. How dare you? That doesn't seem right. What am I supposed to do about it? Is anybody here? All of a sudden our chat got real quiet. I don't know, something's weird about Twitch. I guess they're all... Maybe my lag came back. Nope. So what do I do here? 95. Some tile stuff. Maybe I should do e4. We have cheer. Do we have a cheer? The road to GM 3000. It's some random noob. He's streaming on chess.com. He has 449 viewers. Yeah, right. Man, that pisses me off. People just cheating. Twitch doesn't seem to be cracking down on the bot viewers at all. I guess they don't care if you're like not a major chess streamer. They're just robots. You can pay like these bot sites to make it look like you have 500 viewers so you can become a partner. It's a Leningrad Dutch. This is current position. It's a Lenin stall. It's a Stoningrad. Whatever. I sacked a pawn. Galyash did something like this in my GM tournament. He played a Lenin wall. Ponda would do the same as what? Sack the H-pawn? Yeah, I castled already. If I wasn't castled, I would use the H-pawn as a battering ram. I think we have good compensation here. It's like a Catalan. It's a pretty good Catalan, honestly. Now I have Queen B3. No, Astrobate, the problem isn't that I'm a GM. It wouldn't make a difference. The problem is that I don't use bot viewers, and a lot of people are starting to do it. There's also these marginal websites that are trying to get around the rules. They're technically not bots. They somehow have like legitimate accounts, and they'll like tune them in to watch your stream if you pay a certain amount of money. It's a very bad scene, man. I mean, it's very hard for Twitch to police it, but There was some random guy streaming who was like more viewers than Chess Bra, and you know, it's clearly not real. Of course, if I streamed on chess.com, I would have more viewers, but I don't want to do that, you know. I accept that I have less viewers streaming on lichess rather than chess.com. I won't lower myself to that for the sake of money, you know. Cheesy Noob is in big trouble now. Yeah, this is brutal. The other Cheesy Noob feature, of course, is his love for knights versus bishops, which is almost like a suicidal tendency. Now we have a problem because he can play knight f6, unfortunately. What would Boris Gelfand do? Damn, I'm about to lose on time. So e6, you know, knight f6 wasn't that clear, it looked like. I probably missed something. The Knight Master got away. Not sure about this move. He's gonna hold on here. Finally a blunder. Cheesy Noob at king f7 and he's like totally winning. It's terrible. Even here he might still be winning. Guess not. Man, so king f7 and you're just totally out. Of course he had me in time pressure. I mean, this is pretty obvious. After king f7, I'm fighting an uphill battle to draw. Just a total blockade. Cheesy Noob dream position, where the knight is finally better than the bishop. Okay, the computer says I'm better, but I have to find some sequence of perfect moves. I wouldn't find that. Even that's not good enough. Interesting game, guys. Alright, Morales, Princess Chess. We have a devoted but small following. I might still be better, but it's not that easy. Why? You see, I'm white again every single game. What is this? A coordinated effort to play black every single game? Like seriously, how is this happening? This happened like once, like 2 or 3 years ago. I thought like Yaruin, when Yaruin was the moderator of my channel, he coordinated it or something. I also thought that would be kind of boring. All right. You swear you did random sides. It's a conspiracy. But maybe you're right, Padron Antoni. That's my game from last tournament. But you're supposed to take. This is my game with Borgi. Take, queen takes, knight f6. Okay, pushing is a line too, but isn't like g4 good? Somebody I saw, I think it was Naj Gabor, who just did g4. Of course, this is like a classic French idea. I swear. It's not that bad, though. You know, it's not quite that bad. It's a little tricky if you study it. I'm not sure. The d4, e takes d, queen takes d4, knight f6. It's not that bad. Knight c6, queen e3 check is slightly worse. But it seems somehow knight f6 is better than knight c6. I was perplexed and sat there for like 20 minutes studying that position, and I actually didn't play the best line. I didn't get that much. But I think you should consider it if you're going to play this. But my preference would be to play knight c6, of course. Now we play French reversed, essentially. This is a classic idea in the French. Undermining white's, black's, in this case, center. I mean, I don't mean to complain about the viewership numbers, but there is a definite uptick in bot users, and it's pissing me off. Suddenly, recently, it's very obvious. Twitch needs to crack down on it. I mean, they're going to lose their advertisers, which is the heart of the whole thing. The advertisers find out that most of the viewers are bots. They're not going to invest money in advertising on Twitch. That's why I would never cheat, you know. It's just not right. You're undermining the whole system in doing that short-minded thinking. Humans are good at that, being short-minded. So bishop e4, an interesting move. Controlling e4 and not accepting my pawn sack. If I take, it might save a tempo for black somewhere. And you're pinning my knight, obviously. So I don't know what to do. Tricky. Bishop g2. Short-term gains outweighs long-term benefit. Nope. That would explain the current Trump administration. G4, bishop b4. What are we going to do? Climate change. How about queen c2? Looks like a developing move. Have fun, Princess Chess. Sorry you can't play. Why do you play b4 if you don't know what to do with it? Do you mean g4? Well, I intended black to take the pawn. I mean, it did its job. We're undermining his center. But the question is when I want to take or not take. You know, it's not that simple. Do you want to take on f5 or not? You know, does that help him mobilize his pieces more quickly? Do I want him to take or do I want to take? I know the idea of g4 is correct. But it doesn't make it any easier to calculate precisely the right order of moves here. it's said and done. Troll and roll. Are you and Stook like working together for disinformation? All right, Queen C2. I love my Trump supporters. Eventually, we're going to have to take. I was actually a little bit worried about a knight capturing on f5, potentially. Should be a good French. e4 is long-term weak. We don't have to castle kingside. It's funny how almost all the Russian people that I know support Donald Trump. A lot of disinformation. Joe Biden is evil. He's like the most like neutral, decent person, politician ever. Like a lifetime public servant. They try to paint him as evil. It's ridiculous. Bishop G6. You can't believe it. Listening to scientists. Unbelievable. Is F2 going to be a problem? There are tactics here with stuff like knight c6, knight d4. Knight d4, e d4, e3. Discoveries on my queen on c2. I used to play a variation of the old Indian that's a little similar to this with black. And white has to be careful because the king is in the center. Although here I have the option to castle on both sides. You've been drinking the Kool-Aid too, Asterbait. Ed Harris. Why didn't Ed Harris run for president? He's like one of my favorite actors. You could have like Harris. That'd be cool. Harris. Uh-oh. Knight to g4. Okay, so here castles, queen h4, h3. Might actually work. Of course, knight d1 is slightly illegal. Castles, queen h4, h3, knight f2. Morales has a thing for queen h4 too, because he plays the whatchamacallit. How bad is this h3, queen h4? Sorry, castles, queen h4, h3, knight f2, rook f2. Let's exchange. Bishop takes, pawn takes. Knight f2, rook f2, queen g3. Rook f8 check. King f8, and I've sacrificed the pawn. But I'm ahead in development. Man. Knight f2, rook f2, queen g3, rook f8, check, king f8. I mean, there has to be something. Yeah, I mean, I respect Bernie too, but it just isn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. He's a man of ideals. Can't have ideals. I mean, Black's development has to pay the price here. Right, right. Open it up. Dark square bishop. Not that simple. I have to not drop my pawn on f2. I'll have to exchange queens. Play descending a pawn down with active king and 2 bishops. I think Black's okay. Man. You'd think with this king on f8 I could do something, but at least I get to undouble my pawn. Maybe I could sack a second pawn. Takes bishop a3, queen e3 check, king h1. Just play 2 pawns down. I guess c4. Not that simple. Just beats me every time. It's unbelievable. How strong is Morales? Stronger than me. Dude, what's your centipon lost in this game? It's like a freaking perfect game. I have to play d5 or something, but I'm lost anyway. You made a mistake? Where? Now? His mistake is move 23. I think he played far better than 29 centipon loss. That doesn't count. That's ridiculous when the computer is like, oh, move 30 is a mistake when you're up by 3 pawns. Morales, you're like master strength. What's your FIDE rating? He probably doesn't even have one, which is insane. How could you be like master strength and not have a FIDE rating? It's practically impossible. A6. It's a weird line. He even plays like inferior variations and beats me. No problem, just like falling out of bed. This is good for black too. Black immediately equalized. I'm lucky that I'm not slightly worse now. Bishop f6. White's just worse. Very bad play by me. Hiroku's 1600 now. He must have lost like 200 rating points. Actually, I don't think he's a subscriber. I really should have taken Berserker first. Isn't Berserker a subscriber to the stream? Can't believe how weak I am. I just lose to everybody. When chess is solved, gambling should make it on top of viewership. What are you trying to say, Astrobate? I don't understand. You're gonna do like chess gambling when chess is solved? Yeah, I should have taken Berserker's challenge first. I'm streaming till 1:30. We have almost an hour left, but still. I try to be correct on Mondays and Wednesdays and not take the random people first. Hiroku never subscribes. He sometimes attends the stream. This is terrible. Weird variation A6 and I don't know what to do. I mean, this is a book position. I never really liked it. I guess C5 is the main line. I've played C5 and C takes D. Bishop D3 is just a bad move. I'm flustered from the games I've lost already. Make chess great again, Astrobate. Dumb it down. I mean, that's what the people at US Chess League, like Greg Shahadi, try to do. Make chess faster and faster and just dumb it down. Make it like basketball so everyone can understand. I don't believe in dumbing down chess. You know, like, I like it the way it is. That's just my opinion. I don't think that the solution to make chess more popular is to make the time control faster and faster. It's not helped that much. It's never going to be more popular than incredibly popular thing. Let's be realistic. Chess will never be like trendy. Could possibly. Never mind. There's been an argument forever. How can we make chess more popular? Maurice Ashley in the 90s doing commentary on ESPN. Average consumers of pop culture are never gonna appreciate chess. We have to just accept that. It's an artistic pursuit. It's like expecting average people to like study philosophy or something. It's just not gonna happen. It is only slightly worse now. My 1600 opponent. Outplaying me here. Very difficult to do anything with white in this position. No really good moves. Just kind of wait. I need a place for my queen. Even though I have this crazy score against Oroku, 33-3, he's had countless games where it was almost impossible for me to win. It's not at all been dominant, my score against him. I don't really understand how I have 33-3 against this player, because so many times he was not losing but lost somehow at the end. Yeah, philosophy, just hearing the word like turns people off, I think. Oh man, I switched from psychology, so economics to psychology. That's a hopeless pursuit as well. Black's played like a perfect game. Get a lot of that. Usually in simuls more. Here I did misplay the opening though. That very slight mistake playing bishop d3 on move 8. Rubinstein played cd, ed, and there are other famous games with c5. Earlier, Schieberspieler was here and he mentioned the Carlsbad variation. I think this is the true Carlsbad variation in reality. 7a6 instead of c6. Played in the Carlsbad tournament. Famous game. There were more than one famous tournament in Carlsbad. What's known as Karlovy Vary in the Czech Republic. It's like a thermal spa. a5, bishop takes c4. I guess here his a pawn is weak. My a pawn is weak as well. Actually, it's like a total. Look at this Karpovian maneuver, rook c7. He will a drop. He will a drop a pawn. He will drop a pawn there. A5 is perfect. I mean, black is playing like a master here too. How can you be 1686 and conduct a game like a master? I don't really understand how that makes sense. There's a big difference between masters and 1686 players. This guy is not 1686. This is ridiculous. I don't understand. Like, how do you have this rating? Seriously, that's totally dubious. To watch my d4 pawn. So he only made a mistake because of the clock running low with bishop takes f3. This is how I have 33 points against this guy. He starts to make mistakes when the time gets a little bit low. But otherwise he plays almost perfectly. Did you know how bad a 1686 can be? I'm like struggling for life here. Gasping for air. Slight inaccuracy. Black played a little passively. He could have thought a different move there. This is how every single game I've had against this player has been. I have nothing, and then miraculously I win at the end on time or something. Like, check it out. Black played like a great game and then lost the game in the last 3 moves when the clock started to get low. I'm seriously worse the whole game and then just randomly win. Black's clearly better until the last 3 moves of the game. There's no way you're 1600. And somehow he loses in 3 moves now. Now you had knight b7. That's what's big problem for white. You can't be 1686 and play that well. Alright, so Berserker, and I'll take the other challenges. I mean, you've got to be at least 2000 if you play like that. It's crazy. There are people on lichess who are like 1600, they just hang pieces left and right. And that guy's 1686. I'm lucky to win a slightly worse ending where he lost on time. Stock the Fisher. There was another player like that where I have this ridiculous score and I've almost never had a dominant game against them. I beat them 39-1. I can't remember who it was now. But like never ever there was a crushing victory for me, even though my score is like 39-1. They just lose on time in equal positions and stuff. This line is lame. White doesn't have much. Let's try something a little bit out of the ordinary now with h3. c5 looks like a good move here. Logical. I don't know too much about... Oh, there's something weird going on. Alright, the Berserker, you have a new account? What happened to your other account? Berserker has a new account, guys. Where did the old one go? Where he had like 3 games? Conspiracies continue here. I'm going to play e3. I thought this was the same account I played with before, but it's a new one that was just created. Don't advocate continuously creating new accounts. See what happened to his old one. Alright, h6, yes. Perfect. Exploiting my h3 with a very precise move order. It looks like. Some sort of modern Benoni. I don't know about this though, maybe it's good. I thought the whole point was that you don't go for knight h5 now. But maybe you do it anyway, I don't know. Yeah, Astrobate is a good attitude. But he's not always listening. I told him not to play the Benoni with bishop e7, but he doesn't listen to me. It takes him a while to remember, to get it through his head. But he has a very good attitude, that's right. This h3 is inferior, but I don't know. I tried to use it to confuse people. Objectively, after c5, I should probably just play e3. But white doesn't have anything there either. Black will just play like bishop f5 and knight e4. b5. Playable, I guess. Kind of banco. Yeah, you can just even do knight d5. Wow. This looks really scary. If my knight is taken out of c3, I mean, I guess I could have played knight takes b5 on d6. Good thing there wasn't too much water in that. Alright, well, minor accident, but it didn't hit my computer. That's good. I don't need my laptop getting any more drinks on it. I managed to like spill a non-spillable coffee cup. It's like ridiculous. How did I do that? So knight takes d5. Maybe we best not do that. We'll just play it like a Blumenfeld now. Too dangerous to take the pawn. My mouse pad is wet. Accidents happen. At least it was just water. All right, so minor accident. If I take the pawn, too much danger. So we play it. As I said, it's like a Blumenfeld sort of structure. that's pretty deep by black. There's a little problem with the d6 pawn. He can't play knight d7 until now. Now queen e7. a4, knight d7, a5. I've had similar positions myself as black. But it looks like black is better here. Is it just my attitude, or am I always worse? Against Berserker 2. We're not sure what happened to Berserker 1. I'm a wizard. I get worse positions every time. Yeah, everybody's a genius. I'm not sure it would matter what opening I played. It just happens that I'm playing... I played c4 today. It doesn't matter. There's a reason for it. Believe me. You can rest assured of that. I could just resign here. Maybe that would be a good idea. Let's try one more move. Maybe I should have played bishop takes b8. But that seems like a surrender. Maybe I have knight b3. It looks like I'm losing. Objectively. There might be some tricks. That center, I mean, if a knight gets into d3, I'm dead. I have to try to get rid of it. Knight c5, obviously. c5 was better than e5. Now I can take it, and I'm only slightly worse. But on c5, he had knight b7, queen b7, bishop d6, knight d3, sacking the exchange. When he's probably winning. He's probably close to winning here too, though. White is clearly worse. Unless I can break out very quickly. The other Berserker was higher rated. It was like 2100. This one hasn't had time to really mature yet. Maybe we can get something going. Well, I mean, the Queen's Gambit game, I forgot what I was doing. I mean, I know better. The Berserker actually blundered. Now he's teetering on the brink of defeat. Though still with ops-colored bishops, it's not that easy. I wonder if I should take with the queen or the bishop. Black had a really strong line there. Instead of knight e5, knight c5. And as I said, knight b7, queen b7, bishop d6, knight d3 with a pulverizing exchange sacrifice. Black has to be better there. I'm very, very much likely lost. I wonder if I could play g4. That didn't work out so well earlier. Avoids the exchange. Now I survived. This is a bit of a problem. I don't know if I want to allow exchange of rooks into opposite color bishop endgame. Although a 3-on-1 majority on the queen side would likely be close to winning, I'm not sure there's any guarantee. And it seems like I'm better off trying for more. With the rooks on. I mean, now e4 is weak. Why is it I can't see an obvious move? I'm sitting there like, oh, there's no inner position, but there is. Now he's going to outplay me and flag me. Even though he's 1900. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting account. I'm just going to resign. I don't want to rematch. Where's the other Berserker account? It doesn't matter. Whatever, it's not a rated game. If I can't win that position, I just would rather just resign. Craftic is playing e4 today. Yesterday was d4. Not that many people are ambidextrous in the chess openings, but it's a good skill. Battling with the water situation. Alright. Resolved. They don't have a mouse pad. I have to set up the tournament for tomorrow night. It'll be rapid. Rapid 7+3. Sounds like a weird time control. I played this position the other day with colors reversed. An extra tempo. Bishop g5 I think is better. That's probably the best line. Back in the day I had a lot of games in this line. I like playing this for black. This is like the traditional variation. Well, I don't know, no problem at all. I don't think it's about age, you know. I think it's about mentality and responsibilities. If you don't have any responsibilities and you just learn chess, I mean, take a 60-year-old person with no responsibilities. They could probably still improve. I think age is overrated. I remember I beat Dengel Bela pretty badly in this line. I prepared with the computer once. It had some sort of novelty. Queen d7 or something weird. Remember, it was something with bishop g4. I have to find that game. It was one of my better games. Black should be equal here. But I'm trying to remember a game from like 12 years ago. Well, I don't think the Korchnoi was improving. Yeah. But I mean, you're talking about someone who got to this like ultra high level. It's pretty hard to improve on that. But I'm just saying that beginners can improve to a certain point. F5. Regardless of age. Okay, what is this? I can take this? Yes. Always take. It's an interesting pawn sacrifice. Very ambitious and interesting pawn sacrifice by Krapnik. Full pawn sacrifice. Pawn f5, bishop f5. Piece play. Yeah, I mean, 75, I'm pretty sure. It depends. You know, some people get it. Some people get some sort of dementia before 75, but if your brain is working normally, you should be able to still improve. I mean, barring like a physical disease, I think so. My mom said the older she gets, the less she knows. That was before we knew she had dementia. It was a good joke, but I just hope I live to 75. That I'd be happy with that. Yeah, bishop g5 was actually a strong move. That may be best. So I'm giving him the pawn back. Whoops. I don't care. Have my b pawn. It's a very inventive play by Krapnik. Yeah, bishop b7. What happens if bishop g4? I guess we're going to find out. This will change the dynamics of the pawn structure as isolated pawn at f3. Mutually open g file, which actually may not be that bad. I mean, he's missing the white square bishop though. Should make his white squares kind of weak. And this takes away rook g2. And the king will have to go to h1 where it's not really secure because of white squares. But still, black is pretty compact. This is an interesting choice. Possibly leaving f2 open for the king. Focusing on e7. I missed it, but it may be a good move. Queen f5. King h8 is like universal. You're already demented? That's a different kind of dementia, man. Knight h5. Yeah, this rook g1, that's the reason why he kept his rook on the back rank, I guess. Leaving me kind of awkward. That's a useful move. What if knight g4? Wait, that's defense to that too. It almost works. Maybe it's a good maneuver. Maybe a tactical mistake though. I got a brutal field today. Certainly good training, though. Everyone that I play is really strong. We don't have enough weaker players to build up my ego. So did Kravnik have pawn takes knight, queen takes, and rook g3? I think I'm lost. Simply. This was what I thought he had to play too. I mean, I may be in trouble anyway, though. Maybe we have to be uber careful, nevertheless. My bishop is just in a bad place. Knight e3. Knight e3 and then what? Knight e3, queen e2. It looks good. Now what? Bishop h6. My crazy idea. Crazy uncle. A move that your crazy uncle would make. I need to just play better. This sucks. Queen e2. I'm playing for like one move tactics. Queen e2 is forced. Or not. No, but I mean knight d4 is a blunder. Why does he need to play knight d4? Now I've just got a better ending. I sense he had much stronger with queen e2. Maybe he's not lost here, but he's facing two bishops and a tough ending. Not really a pleasant situation for white. The e7 is hanging. Maybe he can survive. But black should be slightly better. Still he has that move. Alright. Whatever. White is slightly worse now. That's a famous quote. Chess has the power to make men happy or whatever. Play chess like a crazy uncle. That would be a good Twitch name. Crazy uncle. I'm like the right age to be a crazy uncle too. Uh-oh. I was hoping the center could do some damage. It does look pretty strong. Man, Kravnik had a win earlier with just simple combination. He's tilted. This is a bad game by both of us. So my craziness started with knight g4. This can't work. This is the crazy uncle move. That doesn't work, man. Does it work? No. It loses. These like multiple refutations. My bishop is simply trapped on h3. I thought rook g3 worked. Actually, he doesn't have multiple. Oh yeah, rook g3 is second best. Queen f3 is even stronger. So this is just bull. I can't play knight g4. Alright guys, we have time for one more game. Bone atrophy. Combination very deep there. With the trapped bishop on h3. That's my best game today. An unsound win that I should have lost. So no d4. Somebody made the comment that I was playing d4 badly. Or I was getting lost positions every game around d4. So maybe I shouldn't play d4. I'm too unfocused for strategy. A little tired, maybe. I don't think I have a strong accent. Most people would disagree with you now. But I try to like sort of tamp it down when I'm here in Budapest, when I'm speaking to people. Maybe when I'm streaming sometimes I start talking like my old self more. There is a pawn sack here. I think I can play bishop takes c4. That's a variation. I guess d5 is the main line. I don't know this too well. That is playable though. Personally, I play bishop e6. D takes c4 is playable. I used to play queen a5 with black. There's a famous game where Botvinnik beats someone with queen b6. I mean, against queen b6. But there's another move too. D takes c4. Knight e4 is bad, probably. Yeah, this is a good way to play with black. I think the floor played this. D takes c4. He was with like the first grade Caro-Kann player. I can do like a bad Hungarian accent. Not very well though. Hungarian accents are kind of hard to define. Not so easy. It's not as easy as other like Russian accents or Slavic accents. It's different. No, I can't really do it. I might do it accidentally with certain words, but not overall, like in general. I never tried to perfect a fake Hungarian accent. So this, I don't know about rook c8. Probably a move. I would assume e6 is the fundamental thing. You've got to get in e6 ASAP. Possibly g6. White space advantage remains intact. Black would be in a lot of trouble here. Guys, I've got to go. I'm going to set up a tournament for tomorrow night. Rapid. 7+3 casual for our Pawn Tarantula Club. My accent is not strong. I have a very undefined accent. It's not easy to guess where I'm from, like a lot of Americans. You can hear bits and pieces, but I lived in two different cities for a long time. In the United States, I lived in two different regions, and my parents were from a even slightly different region, so I don't have that clear of an American accent. Wouldn't be that easy to say where I'm from if a stranger met me and tried to guess. Sometimes you can hear a little bit of a sort of Philadelphia accent, which isn't that well known. I hear it myself. But I lived in Boston for 15 years. I obviously don't have a Boston accent, which is actually rather strong dialect. But living around people with a Boston accent for a long time probably had some kind of weird effect on the way I talk too. Ka. Pak the ka. But that's not something you can just like pick up. It's extremely strongly defined when you're like a child. Unless you want to be like one of those old money Bostonians who pretend they're English. Like I knew these rich people, really, really wealthy old money Bostonians whose relatives were like in Boston in the 1700s. They talk like they're English. It's really weird. There's still like a very small subset of these people who they literally kept like a remnant of the British accent 300 years later in Boston. They're like inbreeding. I don't know. Queen B6. It's funny to hear like a person from the United States. It's kind of like the people in Louisiana who still have French accents, I guess. 300 years later, after the Louisiana Purchase. So we got a kind of classic position here. Space. Slight targets on e7 and b6. But my own pawn on d5 is overextended. I think it's looking alright though. Although he has counterplay with rook c4, this move. The c-file play. It's a bit of a slow move. Slow moving. Yeah, this is okay for black, I think, despite the ugly structure. Maybe rook d8 too, more active. Black can play b5, b4. As I mentioned, rook c4. In the event of, what was I looking at? I was looking at knight d4, and he would play rook c4. Yeah, I mean, in London, sure. I mean, there must be like a million dialects. I wouldn't know one from another with the British. What's what? I've only been to London on a handful of occasions. It's funny to hear New Englanders. This weird accent. But I've been living here in Budapest for quite a while. If I can target that pawn on b5, now he's sacked an exchange. Whoa. Whoa. Bit extreme. Extreme Bitcoin. You want to sacrifice a whole piece? Not at this time. Technical ending, but we're winning. Unnecessary sacrifice by black. I thought he was holding on without anything dramatic. Maybe he's slightly worse. I have the saying, I didn't say it recently, but 99% of tactics don't work. I feel like it's true. Where is that, Thomas? Like Vermont or New Hampshire or something? Yeah, bone atrophy went too far. I don't know, feel like I deserve this game really either. There's no need to sack the exchange, is there? Panic? Well, he's losing that pawn. I mean, I guess his first mistake was g5. Maybe even playing b5. Black just remains calm here. I think he's only very slightly worse. Yeah, the computer actually likes his move, b5. The danger is the pawn becomes weak and ends up falling. b5, I played a3, and now g5. As I said, like rook c4. This is the move I was fearing before. The computer is confirming that black is equal here. There's the idea of this. It controls laterally. You can double on the c file. Black is okay. Yeah, you went crazy. I mean, g5 is very weakening, and sacking exchange unnecessary. But maybe there your position was starting to creak. But I was lucky. The opening's interesting. D takes c4. I gotta go, guys. But I know this is a gambit. I couldn't remember the theory, so I wasn't confident about that. They can play queen takes d4. I don't know what the final analysis is of that. So d5, knight e5, and now, okay, queen d4 is a move. There's another Botvinnik game, now that I see this. Highly recommend it. Botvinnik's 100 Selected Games. Now that I see it, I remember there was another game of this line, because he has another game in 100 Selected Games where black played like the dubious queen b6. But now it's coming back to me. Why do I know this variation? Takes d5, knight e5. So Botvinnik probably played queen d4, and there was a famous game. It was like knight d3 check, takes, and this is a very famous game. He doesn't take back on d3 right away. It might have been against Floor, actually. I think it was. Botvinnik Floor, but not one of Floor's better games. Floor was extremely strong. One of the greatest players of all time. He wasn't as strong as Botvinnik, but he lost a bad game here in this line. But I know that theoretically this is okay for black. So I forgot about queen d4 and I played this. Okay, this is a line too. But I mean, black's supposed to be okay. Takes, check, bishop e7, takes. Yeah, so you have to play e6. Enrique Butt. No, e6. You have to resolve your kingside development. So that move seems right. Gayam Nagami against Ni Hua. Gayam Nagami again. Good player from Iran. Alright guys, I gotta go. So thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with the Panda and Tarantula Club Rapid Tournament. If you can stop by. We're gonna be here at 6:30 CET, no longer summertime. Central European time, Tarantula time. So, interesting stuff. I like that Pana Bavanik. I play both sides. Bye guys. Thanks for watching. I turned into a tarantula. Bye bye.